Welcome to the all-new Tradecast, the podcast that digs deep into the heart of UK construction industry. I'm your host Colin, and whether you're laying bricks, pouring concrete or designing the next architectural masterpiece, this is a show where all sectors of the UK construction world are heard. Right, Connor, thanks very much for coming on, I appreciate it. If you can just fill everybody else in on who you are, what your business is, and let us know.
Well, Connor McInerney, so I own Future Building Developments, generated really from my dad, done a revamp. So my dad owned Like Construction Limited for many years, decided to basically step back, take a minute, basically didn't really want to run the business too much after his dad died. So I had a wee bit of time, he wanted a bit of time to grieve, and it was sort of my time then to step in and I just decided to change the full company, didn't want to take the name. So basically we came up with Future Building Developments and just something completely new, completely different, got all new guys in. My dad's still very much a part of the business, but just a wee bit more in the background, and it does help me that way, just with having that experience still there, and it sort of gives me that bit of comfort, knowing if I ever needed to go anywhere and ask anyone anything, he's still there with that experience. So basically it's been going well, only been 2 years running. So
So prior to you taking over for your dad, you worked for your dad?
Worked for my dad for a good 10 years, and then, as I say, I've been doing this now 2.5 years myself, so it's definitely a big change, but probably the last 3 to 4 years working with my dad, I was pretty much running the business for him anyway, in terms of meeting up with the guys, organising guys. He was just sort of in the back, dealing with the client, paying the material, etc. So it was just sort of that role get reversed a wee bit. Yeah,
so you were pretty much hands-on anyway before you took over?
So I was always used to it. I still love doing it, but it's just in terms of now you're actually a business owner, you're actually running the business a wee bit different, dealing with the finances, getting to organise all that's obviously totally new to me. But having him there gives you that still good bit of comfort to keep going on with it, so it's good.
So obviously as soon as you got the reins, what was the first thing you done?
I went out right away and bought 2 vans. I've been a bit optimistic, but like I said, basically my dad gave me a loan of 10 grand, saying right, that's what you've got to start up your own business. So and his words were, you pay me back when you've got the money, whether it's a year's time, 2 years time, whatever. So I was like, right, okay. So I had a couple of guys lined up that was wanting to work for us, obviously, that I knew through my apprenticeship, just knew growing up with. They were good, hungry guys, young guys. I just did. My dad had a lot of older guys working for him. I sort of get fed up with them, and I thought, no, I want a total change. So I brought in these young guys.
Some young blood.
Aye, some young, hungry blood, and basically just get tore into it. So we were all pretty much there. They knew how I worked and they knew how I liked things done. Obviously, I had to spend a wee bit of time investing in them, showing them how I like things done, but as soon as you invested that wee bit of time in them, it did work. But I bought 2 vans straight away, got them all signed and lettered, and basically just started advertising. We were always sort of busy because obviously we just sort of said we revamped the business, which we did, but it was just a new face, new director, new business account. So we still had clientele coming over and wanting us to do the job because they knew I was there running things anyway. So the only difference was I was the new directing the company. So it was still good that we were still busy, and then I was just doing plenty of advertising, so it was to get busy.
Good. So from then to now, you said it's 2 years. How did you find your first year in business as a new business owner?
I felt it was booming, to be honest. Really, even my accountant said that. He said, you're probably doing too well, to be honest. And I was like, right, okay. I was a bit worried about that. And I'll probably touch more about that later. But the first 2 years have been great. So it was more towards, I feel more this year, it's been a bit of a standstill. Because obviously, I think I addressed this to you, I spoke to you about it, I had a big, massive tax bill at the end of the year. But obviously, it's all dealt with now, it's all sorted. But the first 2 years was brilliant. So it was, the first year was good just in terms of getting the business up and running, getting guys in. Second year was more about more advertising, and then obviously I built the fleet a bit more. I added another 2 vans, just started expanding a bit more. I knew I've done the same again, so being a bit optimistic here and hoping it goes in the right path. But don't get me wrong, the last 2 years have been really good, and it's still going that way. And it's probably, I keep thinking it's going to quieten down. It keeps going the opposite. It keeps going busier and busier. Yeah, definitely. I've obviously, I was expecting it to slow down as well, and it's definitely not working. I think it's, if anything, it's steady. I think everyone thought that when obviously with COVID and everyone could go places, everyone's wanted to do up their house, wanted to do up their garden, just wanting stuff done in general. But then obviously when everyone was allowed to go back on holidays and everything, thought, oh, it might take a time for the worst here. People didn't want to move. Well, obviously the house rates and the house prices going up. people are, let's just stay where we are, we're comfortable, let's just do stuff to the house. So it helps us and it benefits us that way.
So rather than move, they're spending money on the property.
Exactly, aye. So just to add more value anyway to their own property.
In terms of your business, what is your key part of your business?
Aye, home extensions is our main speciality. We do get garage conversions, loft conversions, general renovation works internally, but normally when people get an extension, it ends up a full renovation. Or some people have had extensions and it's a loft conversion as well. Some are a loft and a garage, vice versa. So it just depends. I generally think the scope of works these days are a lot more. When I used to work for my dad, you maybe get a 40 grand extension and you're like, wow, that's quite a big job. The ones we're working on now is like double the size of a house, you know what I mean? It's like a 200k job and it's just mental.
I've obviously seen some of your work and I follow your Instagram and stuff, so I know exactly what's happening for you and your business, and it's amazing. But from the 2 years that you've kind of took over, what's your favourite project? What have you done? I know you've got one, so...
I've got ones good as in... I've got good ones in terms of the good scope of works, but maybe the client wasn't the best, but...
And that's definitely a subject we can go into.
But definitely, probably there's a couple in Newton Mearns, couple in Giffnock. Just from start to finish, just for seeing it, absolutely nothing. Just like a small bungalow, adding that big extension at the back, making it all in plan. Timber frame is what I love. So doing the timber frame, doing all the roof work. There was one just last year we done in Eastwood Mains Road, and that just turned out spectacular. The one in Air Road I'd just done as well in Newton Mearns, that again, it's amazing looking. I've still got to go back and take photos and videos, but I'm hoping to be posting that in the next week or two. So that's something else on its own. The interior design that the clients have chose and we've just fitted for them, it makes it night and day. So it does definitely to your work.
Good. So you've clearly got a lot of favourite projects in there. What's your least favourite part of being a business owner?
Oh, definitely the admin side, 100%. I ended up getting an admin team involved in November there last year. So they're sort of taking a good bit of pressure off me, called Trade Boss. So they're taking a good bit of pressure off, basically allowing me to be on the tools a lot more, which definitely I benefit from. And 100% I would highly recommend to anyone that wants to just stay on the tools, because it allows me to be with the guys and show them what they're doing without, oh, hold on boys, I need to sit in the house for an hour here to do admin, or so I need to leave early to go do admin.
A hands-on boss then? You're
definitely, I couldn't think it must have sitting at a laptop all day. So that's probably the least part of running a business. In terms of most of I know a lot of guys that complain about staff and complain about contractors, but the team I've got are very loyal. Always use the same guys week in, week out. So they're very loyal and they know how I work and like things done. And I pay them on time, so it's like they've got everything to come to me and come back to me dead quickly. So I can't complain about any of them either. So it runs really smoothly that way.
From a business owner's point of view, it's pivotal to the business that you've got a good team.
Oh, 100%.
I know that as well. Like, obviously, I've got a lot smaller team to what you've got, but if I didn't have my team, I wouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? So in a scale of yours, your business is quite a large. Well, it's a relatively large scale business. You've got enough
you couldn't take on the jobs that you take on with all your staff. You couldn't take it on yourself. You'd be there forever. So that's what's good about it. And a lot of guys say to me, Connor, how do you do it? Like, how can you use? And we tend to start one up and then wait 3 weeks later or 4 weeks later before I start another foundation. Because people, you run about 3 or 4 extensions at a time. I says, but it's the timing of it. Every job has got a different stage. So basically I could be at a foundation stage, whereas the other one I've started 3 weeks ago is already had the timber kit and the roof done. So I've got roofers and brickies on there. And the other one, again, processing 3 weeks again and 3 weeks again. That one could be at finishing stages. You know what I mean? So it's all different stages.
So it's just about keeping the timing absolutely perfect.
And it's keeping my guys going. So at least then they kind of turn around and say, oh, we've got nothing to do this week. And I'm like, why can you go into that one day finishings, or you go into that one and day roughing, or you go do a timber frame or a roof. So it just keeps the momentum going, keeps the boys going. So it's a good sort of flow and a good repetitive scale that way. You know what I mean? It's always even though it's different.
Keeps the wheels turning.
The boys like it because it's different jobs, and I always say that every job is different. But the actual scope of works and what you're doing, your process of works, are you getting your tools out and going to do that job I've asked you to do and follow the drawing? It's the exact same, it's just a different address. You're at a different house. The drawing might obviously be slightly different, but again, it's the same process, you know what I mean, that you need to do, just square, plumb, parallel, everything. You're still doing everything the same.
I get you. So in terms of your team, now, I met you 2 years ago at the very ceremony that this team helped you get to. So obviously I met you at the Scottish Home Improvement Awards, and I did not know you for Jack at the time.
I don't think a lot of people did, to be fair.
No, well, maybe not, mate, because you pretty much, that would have been your first year right in then, wouldn't it?
It was, aye.
So Connor approached me randomly, and he was like, your contact's brilliant, blah, blah, blah. Don't get me wrong, the two of us were half cut, I'm pretty sure at that point.
I think we were, aye.
And for that point, it was kind of just speaking to each other on Instagram and get to know each other. Now, at the award ceremony, you didn't win it in that year, I'm sure, didn't you not?
No, so what happened was we entered it pretty late. I had heard all about it. I had submitted the examples of works. I was actually in a pure rush to submit 3 examples of works. I wanted to submit really good examples here, and I eventually submitted them, and obviously nothing came up. But a guy, I can't remember who said to me, someone said to me that year, he says, Connor, you're in for this, and I says, aye, that's right, I'm in that category. And he says, aye, but the guy that you're in with, he's won it the last 4 years in a row. And I says, oh, how the fuck's that? I says, how am I expected to win this? This is the first year in business. So as soon as I heard that, I thought, I've got no chance here. But no, it was still a great night, and like you say, we met each other that night.
Your table was bouncing.
Aye, I took 10 guys with me thinking this will be a great night. It was a great night, it was good to meet everyone. And like you say, Instagram's a great platform to meet everyone in the trades. Met some really good guys with it.
It's a massive networking tool at the end of the day.
Aye, exactly, and it's free, so it's one of the ones, it's good. I mean, I've met some cracking guys like yourself, Copland Grey Roofing, Anton for there, really good pals with him. Reese for RD, there's loads of guys out there that come up to you and say, I'll see your stuff, or contact you like week in, week out, and just generally support you on Instagram. So it's a good network, definitely, to be in with.
Definitely, right. So we'll fast forward from 2002 to 2003, talking about your team and awards and stuff. 2023 was a better year, eh?
Brilliant year. So it was still in Well, I was in shock, to be honest, because I expected, we specialise in home extensions, so I expected to win that sort of category, hands down. But I think it was only the 3rd category that it came up, and I'd looked at one of my joiners, Ryan, and we came up, it was highly recommended, wasn't any of us, for Best Building Contractor, and then next minute I just heard Future Building Developments, and I'm like, no way. I was still in shock to this day, but I think it was just everything, it worked in our favour with everything that we support on Instagram and socials and our website. I'd literally just get the website just done. So I think everything that the judges could see, I was posting daily content, they could see what we were about. I think that helped, so I'm hoping it helped.
Aye, definitely.
But and then when they said about I wasn't even bothered about the joinery firm, because I've got joiners and we're all joiners to trade. I wasn't too bothered about that, because I don't just go about doing the wee bits of joinery. But then when that came up as well, it was just like a double whammy, and I was like, if we won the 2 awards, we're surely getting the home extension one. And he's like, don't get your hopes up, I says, no, we're going for free out of free. I think I've actually posed in a picture like that, as if, because we won the 2nd award, and I'm like, we're going for free. But it was still good, and then we got when it came up, highly recommended, Future Building Developments. So I was like, oh well, we had to lose one of them. But no, to come away with 2 winners and a highly recommended was unbelievable.
So that was an even better night, and I'm pretty sure the table was even more bouncing.
Aye, it was. Well, I was actually busier the first year. I had a few guys pull out, just sickness bugs and being on holidays and that. But
how was the hangover?
It's actually not too bad. I flew out the next day, so I was away to Fort Ventura with the family the next day. So even though we won that, my dad was over there, so we were going there. I was going there to meet him. And one of the boys says, "Do I take the award with you?" And I says, "No, I'll end up breaking it."
Smashed it in a suitcase.
Aye, a bit of glass. But no, it was unbelievable. So it was, and then we still get really good. Obviously, it gives you that recognition, gives you the branding. And a lot of architects contact me, and a lot of people contact you looking for work because you've won the awards. So it is good, you know what I mean? It pays for itself. Obviously, paying that table for 10 guys isn't cheap, as you know.
It ain't cheap.
No.
But it's a good night. Definitely
it's a cracking night.
I couldn't attend that night, obviously. I know you kind of kept me in the loop for our wee award that we picked up, but
that's right.
It was good to watch on Instagram, obviously, you picking your awards up, your pictures came out. I was actually religiously watching it because there was no other feed to it. The only person that I could really contact was you, so I was watching your stories.
I think we were the only builder that advertised in the Daily magazine. And again, we've done that the first year. I think we're the only builder that advertised in that magazine.
Again, that's not cheap though.
No, but I always say that. I always feel advertise when you're busy, because if you do it when you're quiet, you will feel the effects of it. So I always say that, and that's what I've always stuck by that. So I don't know if that helps people seeing your magazine, seeing your name, your logo, and then seeing your vans about in that area. I always think that helps.
Definitely.
So it
It's just, again, it's keeping your brand in people's eyes. Do you know what I mean? It's,
100%.
again, I know you've obviously exceeded on that with other things like your jingle and stuff.
I think the first couple of years in business is important to put the brand out there, because no one, like you say, no one knows you.
No.
So to put your brand out there and showcase it, be proud of it, and then again, time will tell, it will come to you. People are recognising the name and then who you are on Instagram, and it just flows after that. All my guys are fully uniformed in the branding. The vans are all fucking sign written and wrapped, so it's like it does stand out to people.
So you can't miss future, basically.
Aye, pretty much.
That's what you're aiming for, though.
That is what you're aiming for.
So would you say Instagram's kind of one of your more focused social media platforms?
I would say, yeah, I know. I mean, the first year I didn't really take to Instagram too well. I don't get work for Instagram that much. This year it's kicked off with Instagram for some reason.
Do you think it's more because you're consistent with it now, though?
I don't know if it's a consistency or it's like you say, the awards. And we've been doing a bit of advertising on Go Radio, so I don't know if people are hearing that and then looking for it on social media. So I don't know, but this year especially has went a wee bit better. Last year and the year before, I didn't really get too much work. People would contact you, but be daft small jobs. A lot of my work was word of mouth, or it was through the community magazines that I do, because they're seeing the page in that area, and like you say, they're seeing all the vans. People are then starting to know who it is and going, that's who that used to be, that's who they are now. So a lot of people thinking, well, where did Lake Construction go? Was obviously my dad's company. Connors took it on now and he's called this. So a lot of people started contacting me and seeing that, saying, oh, there's Scott's boy and he's running the business now. So a lot of people now recognises, and I don't know if that's how this year's went a bit better as well on Instagram.
So in terms of business, you would say this is probably this has been your best year then?
So far it's been busy. Right now, I mean, the news it stands, we're booked up to August and we're still getting inquiries coming in.
That's a good year.
And some of the jobs you're getting coming in are massive, like 80 square metre projects. And that's no, I mean, for my team, that's something they could do in 4 months' time. I know some builders could bear that threshold. Some builders actually take like 20% of that up front. So if you're 100 grand, you're taking 20 grand off you right away. We don't take any money up front, so I think that's what gives us a wee bit of trust between me and the client to say, we're here to do a job and you're not here to run away.
So that obviously gives a bit of trust between you and the client, but how vulnerable does that leave you as a business owner?
Well, it does a wee bit. A lot of people say that, but in general, if I've done one stage and I'm not completed for that stage, then I'll not progress that job. So like you say, if you came to me and wanted an extension, you'd want that job to go quick and smooth. So I need to be paid for it to go quicker and smoother. So once for instance, foundations and drainage, once we complete the stage, we expect to be paid, obviously in full, before we move on to the next stage, and we'll give you a payment plan to say, this is the stages and this is the payments. So majority, but 97% people stick to it. A lot of people maybe be 2-3 stages on, you're like, look, you're going to need to transfer some money here. But generally, people are very good at it and they stick to it because you've got that trust factor. They say, well, we're actually here to do a job, we've got bills to pay, and obviously our guys are our priority to stay in your job. And if you want them to stay in your job, that's fine, but you need to be consistent with the payments once we complete the stages. And they generally, most of them do it, you know what I mean? I've had a few widows in the past, but we'll not go there.
We've all had them, buddy.
You
it's part and
get
parcel
them.
At the end of the day. Like,
you do get them.
It's no sunshine and rainbows.
No, you do get them, but
sure.
That's part of being a business owner and learning how to handle that. And obviously, early years, definitely, that's something. Probably the first year I struggled with, try to keep your calm and keep your patience when you're trying to get money in for your first year of business. But definitely second and third year, you sort of keep your calm, you know how to handle it better.
You've basically grown into the position of a director or a business owner. You've
learn,
picked it up.
You learn how to handle it, and generally a lot of the time people think, I get the electrical certificate for your build, so basically I don't pass it over until I'm paid in full. So you basically your job's not getting passed ever until you pay me in full.
Basically you've got a bit of leverage.
So if
it's not paid, you don't get it.
But at the end of the day, you've still got all your finances in your bank, you know what I mean? You're in charge of your finances, so people think that right away, well, I'm in charge of finances. I get to see something that builder's built first before I pay him and make sure I'm happy with it. So a lot of people prefer that than going, I want 20% up front before I've even kicked the ball. You know what I mean? Some people, me personally, if it was me, I'd be like, no, I'm not giving you 20% up front. I don't know who you are. at the end of the day.
Again, everybody's kind of different. As I say, like, my business model is we took a booking fee to get yourself in the diary. Again, we are in demand, we are wanted. The people that come to us have been watching us on Instagram and TikTok and whatever, and they're coming to us for our service because of how we kind of portray ourselves. So we try and secure ourselves. Again, like you, we've got bills to pay, wages to pay and whatever, so to secure our diary we do take a payment up front. But for other people like yourself, it just doesn't work. Like, it's just not going to happen. Your projects are obviously massive and exactly. a 10 or 20%.
They're on a different scale, so I can get it. But if you're a type of builder or contractor to do building projects, and you've not got the money to do these sort of jobs, you shouldn't be starting them anyway. You should be at least be able to start, get the block work, get the sand, cement, get whatever it is. You should be able to get that for that client, start it up, and then go like, I need a payment now, we're on your job. Yeah. If you've not got that in the bank, then that just shows you how busy or good is that builder you're hiring.
Good point.
You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. A lot of people say that, and then, to be honest, see, when you say that to the client, it sort of wins them over as it is anyway. So you're sort of guaranteed the job, and as soon as you say that, they're like, I like this guy already. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's a massive part of business anyway. Like, people buy from people. It's that simple. Like, that's how we try and keep ourselves relatable and show people that we're normal people at the end of the day. And I will go and I will make a point of seeing the customer prior. I'll go out and measure the job. We've got somebody else that deals with the emails, and then when the job starts, I'm there. Where I'm there all the time might be a different story, because obviously we've got to, as a business owner, you're bouncing about. But I think people definitely buy for people, and you've got to stick to that.
100%. You need to be able to know what you're talking about, and you're the expert at your job at the end of the day, and people want to get that feel for you, that he knows what he's talking about, he knows what he's doing with this. There's my drawing, on you go, you're capable, you're project managing the job for me. Yep.
And it's a project of your size is a lot of managing, eh?
Well, exactly, because especially when it comes to like your engineer drawings and your structural drawings, they want to know you're making sure what you're doing with that. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, there's some guys out there this day and age, I think I touched on that with you before, they might be a joiner, but they'll not get that building experience or what can happen structurally, and they just sort of wing it, and it's scary at times. You know what I mean? Some of them I've seen, it's like no, that's a jail sentence, you shouldn't be doing that. But these guys just sort of wing it and just go with it. But I've gained that experience obviously from my dad to go in and be able to do that, and no just basically be a joiner, but I can actually go be a builder. Yeah,
that's good, man. So in terms of, you touched on it earlier, you've had your fair share of idols, and we've all had them, but have you got any stories you want to share with us where it's went wrong? As I say, it's not all sunshine and rainbows for being a business owner, so it's we've all had it. It would be good to share it.
Best one's probably the one last year. It was Newton Mearns. It was over a 200k project. It's always final payment, so I get it all the time, but it was actually, I'd been paid in full for the project, but usually when a job that size and scale there was extras involved. So one of them was a boiler. It was changing, my plumber says for the size of house it is, we're changing a two bed, 1 bathroom into a 6 bed, 4 bathroom. So he says the size of boiler she's got is not going to handle the pressure to go to 4 showers, blah blah blah, right? So it was all explained to the client. It was agreed verbally to the client, and she was totally happy to go with the new price. So that was fine. Also, it was a part of the existing house to be re-rough casted. So she thought I was fully rough casting the existing house. I says, no, I'm just here to do the extension either side. Yeah. And obviously it's got to be brand new rough cast, so it'll show up the middle part of the house. I says, again, I can give you a price for my rough cast to rough cast it. That was fine. Agreed the price. So again, it was these 2 extras I was waiting on. Must have waited at least 8 weeks after I've paid obviously my rough caster, paid my plumber, paid the material, so I'm out $8,000. So again, I left it, a couple of texts here and there, nothing threatening, nothing thingy, very professional. As I say, again, probably maybe the first year I might have been, no say threatening, but I wouldn't have been as calm.
You wouldn't have been as
so
grown
I was
up about it.
Very calm about it, and as I say, one day I was just like, no, enough's enough. So I phoned all the boys in the morning. I says, get the scaffolding from the yard. We're going back at this address. Oh, what are we going to here for? And I says, because we're going to start stripping the roof. And they're like, are you serious? I says, I'm be dead. I says, I'm fed up now asking for this payment. It was always excuses. It was like, and it was one excuse was, oh, I need to go into my kids' savings for that. And I says, oh, come on, don't hit me with that. I says, I've got 2 kids I know. I says, I've got bills to pay. I says, but you knew the price, you agreed the price, we've done the job, there's nothing wrong with the job, you've not had any complaints about it, we expect to get paid in full. So I didn't want to be that guy, but I had to be that guy. So that morning we get her there, nice and sharp, 8 of my guys, started setting up scaffolding at the back. So she comes out, what you doing? I says, well, you're not paying me my payment. I says, we're going to start stripping the roof. Oh, you can't do that, I've paid you the roof. I says, no. I says, you pay me my stage payments. Whether what I allocate that to is my choice, but I've not been paid in full. So we ended up getting the scaffolding set up at the back. The woman came out and basically, well, what are you doing? Get off my property. I says, no, we've been here the last 4 months. I says, we're here to take the roof tiles back off the roof if you're not wanting to pay us. Oh no, you can't do that, I'm phoning the police. I says, that's fine, go phone the police. I says, I'm not taking the police by force. She was trying to videos at the time.
Yeah.
And I think she mentioned something daft, like, oh, you like being in the paper, because we just won the awards and we were in the paper. So she's like, I think you love being in the paper, didn't you? And I was like, whatever. And I says, look, there's an invoice. I says, go transfer me. And I says, and then we'll be out your way. We'll be off your property. So cut a long story short, we were just kidding on to take roof tiles off. We can take roof tiles off and we can fit them. Yeah. We started unclicking gutter and stuff like that. Stuff that was dead handy to do, easy enough to click back on. Yep. So boys get the cordless out, taking down pipes off, stuff like that. Started kidding on with putting it in the van, just putting a bit of pressure on her. And again, I didn't want to be that way, but then here the police turned up. Again, didn't really approach me at first, goes into the client, speaks to the client, and they could see right away. So they came out and says, are you Connor, you the director? And I says, I'm the director. They says, look, without me even saying it, and they says to me, we can see how she is right away. And I says, what do you mean? She says, well, she's trying to show us texts, but we've read your texts, there's nothing threatening there. Yep. There's nothing we can do to you. And I says, all right. And I says, well, I'll tell you something. I says, there's an 8.5k bill outstanding. Yep. I says, if you were to go say to her to get it sorted, then I sort of seen this as if, oh, here, I might have an advantage here. Yeah. They're on my side. So they said to me dead serious, they says, Connor, why don't you take your guys down for a coffee? We'll speak to her. I says, that's fine. I says, look, it's 10:30. My guys are here to 2:30 today. I says, so, and it's to be pissing the rain all weekend. I says, so you let her know. They've got enough 4 hours to strip this roof and put them in the van. I'll use them in a different job and someone else that wants to pay for them. Yeah. And they were sort of laughing, but they knew. And I did say to them, I says, that's not just, I says, these guys are all fully uniformed and that's all fully sign written. They only do stickers on the van. Yeah. And he says, no, look, I says, I'm not here to hang it. I'm paying them to be on this job when I don't need to be today. Yep. I says, we've done our job and we should be paid in full for it. So he was totally fine with it. Went in and spoke to the client. The boys went down for a coffee. And then, cut a long story short, she didn't want to talk to me at the end. I says, that's fine then. She's got my dad's number. Tell her to phone my dad then. Yeah. She's not speaking to any of my guys. So she phoned my dad, and I think she transferred 5 that day. And then again, she wanted stuff. She wanted like electrical stuff, and stuff through. She was making up stuff. She wasn't too happy with stuff in the house. But she didn't want us back in the house, so she had to get other guys to do it. And I says, all right. So it was just getting petty. Yeah. Eventually, I think we got another £1,000 out of her. And then I just cut ties with it. I says, I'm not going back. I says, just forget it.
Yeah. So ultimately, it was like a £2,000 loss, basically.
Aye, but it was that one. I was like, I just had to take it. Yeah. It was a big enough project. I'd made money on it. It was just the simple purpose of it's the point trying to be a widow and trying to get away with it. Yeah. And they literally just moved up to Scotland for England. Yep. And my plumber actually said that. He says, trust the first job. He's from London. He's Gary for the web group. He said to me, he says, trust the first job that I do for you. It's a Londoner. It's not even anyone for here. And I says, well, that just goes to show that's what they're like down there.
Right, fair enough. So in the terms of that kind of, did that change anything for you as a business owner? Did you adapt to any different directions or
not really.
policies?
I mean, you get them, but I probably wouldn't be caught out with that big a payment again at the end. Aye. I did say that.
Kind of safeguard yourself.
Again, you expect, obviously you gain someone, I'm getting her the trust factor that I'm there to do a job, everything else. You expect to get that wee bit of respect back and just be like, okay, I'll pay you in time. And she was totally fine all the way up to I mean, it was over a 200k job. She was totally fine all the way up. And then it was just like that at the end. It was if, no, I'm basically blank refusing to pay it. And I'm like, but you've agreed to it. And so it was just the roles reversed, you know what I mean? You just sort of seen that side. And I don't know if she was really skint or no, I don't know. But she's transferred the money that day.
It's that old thing, you shouldn't agree to something if you can't afford it, innit?
Exactly. But again, it was just, I didn't want the relationship to end that way, but unfortunately it was what it was.
So it was a good project all the way up to that stage.
I put a post up about it on my Instagram, because it was just like, it's no sunshine and rainbows every day. You do get these clients, unfortunately, and we're there to do a professional job and be reasonable. I get there's maybe stuff you're not happy with, or there's extras you want added in. We can talk about it, we can discuss it. It was just point blank refusing. It was like, and I says, well, who are you to refuse us when we've done the job for you, we've finished it?
It's one of those ones. Again, we get extras as well, obviously. Can you do this, can you do that, can you add a bit of slabbing in it? Of course, we try and do the same thing. We try and confirm everything. We'll confirm it verbally first, and then it gets put in an email. That day it gets put in an email and agreed via email, just to safeguard yourself. And it's the same kind of story. You don't want to be left liable for...
Well, say, like you say, so say you've done 20 projects a year, and every one of them want to leave £8,500 off at the end of the job. You would be out of business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There'd be no point in being in this game.
Yeah, there'd be no wages getting paid.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not like that. I pay all my contractors, all my guys. They're the first ones paid. It's me that gets hit to obviously get the money in, and then I'm paid, and then whatever's profit is my profit.
Yeah.
I know some guys at work that basically wait to they're on a next job before they'll pay their guys, and I'm like, that's not how they should be treated. I mean, they're a job for you, turn up for you, and they'll do it. Yeah. That's the way I treat my guys.
That's probably why you're keeping them loyal and keeping them good and
that's
winning
the whole
awards.
Point. That's the whole point of doing it, you know what I mean? But you do get some clients 100%, but it's just it's how you obviously go about it. Sometimes we take on 2 or 3 projects at a time. So some days she was moaning that some days I wasn't always there, but I said I don't need to always be there every day.
Again, that's another aspect of being the business owner or a director. You can't always be there. Like, sometimes I'm not there. You've got to go and visit other people, or you're going to visit the next project that's going to start. You need to go and see the clients and just have a pre-start meeting, and it doesn't always work like that. That's why I know you're the same as me. That's why all the staff are uniformed. Everybody will know who they are, and there'll always be somebody on site. So
it's always the same. It's the same faces I see every week with my guys. That's what I said. Even if I bring someone in new, I mean, they'll see them regularly on the job. It's not as if it's a guy. It's like, oh, he wasn't here last week and he's here this week. Yeah, it's not like that.
Again, that's another thing with the branding that we spoke about earlier. Like, if everybody's wearing it, everybody knows who they are. Even see if I bring somebody on temporary, they'll get a temporary t-shirt. And it's trivial to some.
Exactly.
And I know they're
representing your company at the end of the day to do a job.
There's white van men out there that don't wear uniform, no sign written van, and no offence to them, they might do good jobs, but the branding is key to a successful larger side business as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely. I've had it in the past. That basically we've turned up to jobs and there's been a foundation dug, for instance, and it was a wee old woman and girl at Kid, and she says to us that she's had a builder out, he's dug that and he's fucked off and he's got away with 10 grand. And I says, what do you mean? She's like, I paid him 10 grand up front to start. He says he needed 10 grand for material, and all he's not even bought material, he's just dug a hole and fucked off.
And just disappeared.
So it's like, geese builders like us a bad name.
Yeah.
So that's how we sort of show the branding, show we're there to do a job. Yeah. And we mean business, you know what I mean? That's all part of doing it and giving them that wee bit of trust that no, we're not there to take your 10 grand and fuck off. Yeah. But the way some people have been treated in the past gives us a bad name. Yeah. Definitely. I know, that's fine. So in terms of you in the business, what is your forecast for your business? What direction are you heading? Again, I'm just sort of taking every year as it comes. Obviously, still being so young, but this year especially. So I've got another van on the road, got another 2 joiners. One being my brother-in-law and another sort of apprentice I'm trying to start up. But again, just sort of seeing where it goes. Yeah. Taking it a wee bit further. I'm hoping to obviously, you know what I mean. It's why you're hoping to. If you take on more jobs, you can split them up a wee bit. Yeah. Have them on different jobs. Sometimes it's good to have them on one job and people go like, my God, look what you've done today, because it does make a difference. I mean, we can do a timber frame or a roof sometimes in a day.
I've seen how fast you can
with all the guys, so it makes a difference and it makes the client so impressed. It's like, all right, that's brilliant. Yeah. There you go, there's your money. Again, sometimes it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes I need to split the boys up at different stages. So there's two or three of my joiners that are very experienced that I can leave them to it, you know what I mean, and I'll stick with the more inexperienced ones now to show them how I like things done until they're trained up that way. But in terms, I don't think I'll expand anymore at the minute. I'll just probably play it by ear, see how this year goes, and then we'll take it again. It's always in January. I'll maybe take it a wee bit further. Yeah. See how much money's still in the bank.
How much the tax man's going to get because you've got to spend it first.
Aye, that as well. Aye.
No, of course. So you mentioned there apprentice. Like, are you kind of keen on taking on apprentices? I know you said you started young with your dad and you kind of grew into the man you are just now. Is that something that you're going to kind of pursue yourself?
Well, I know. So there's a load of guys on Instagram, especially. They message me all the time saying, have you taken on apprentices? But I would only take on one at a time. I couldn't take it because it's a lot of investing, a lot of time for yourself. You know what I mean? To put into one person and hopefully thinking he's got the grasp for this.
Yeah.
Because you could spend a year down the line and you're like, he's just no good at this. You just don't know. There is certain guys out there at this day and age, and I hate to say it, I think it's this generation just don't have it. They don't have it in them. Whereas I think I'm lucky that way. It was my generation, and the way I get taught and brought up, it wasn't really through my dad. My dad had about 4 or 5 joiners working for him. I learned after their mistakes, and I was like to myself, that's how not to do it, because my dad would come on site about 10:30, 11 o'clock
and start shouting,
and I literally nearly thrown stuff at him because he's mucked his eyes up or done something, and he always said that, measure twice, cut once. That was his motto, and it was like, so if you gave him a size wrong, he would literally hit you with it. But it was just one of the ones.
Hammers getting flung.
Aye,
a good old joiner swing.
It was just the way, back then it was just the way you would get taught.
You're right.
And believe me, you wouldn't want to get hit with a bit of wood or a hammer, so you would like, I'm fucking never doing that again. You know what I mean?
It's true though, like the generation that have totally changed. Like,
definitely.
When I was at school as well, I've done a range of different things before I landed in this role of running a business, and I've always worked hard. Like, before I left school, man, it was just constant work. But see now, try to find somebody that wants to come on and actually learn something. It's impossible. I'm kind of finding it impossible.
I always say that. I say that as the young boy that swears. Always think before you speak. He says some stuff and it's just like, where are you getting that from? You're like, I've taught you it a million times. I think before you speak. I says, watch what I do and mirror image what I do. Think ahead what I'm going to do next. Sometimes my pet hate is, what do you want me to do next? And I'm like, grab a brush, do something.
That is one of my saying to anybody is, if you've got nothing to do, pick up a brush and look busy.
That's what I say all the time, because there's always stuff to do. There is always stuff to do, but it's the fact, and even some of the joiners have commented saying, don't ask all that. You know what I mean? Because I will.
Because he'll throw a hammer at you.
Aye. No, I don't do that. The thing is, you done that to someone this generation or this day and age, they would probably go report you or say, oh, he's bullying me or something. So you can't do that. You know what I mean? But you're trying to be. I think they're too sensitive at times. You know what I mean?
No, they are. I agree with you, mate. As I say, we've obviously tried to find some youngins before as well. Again, landscaping gets kind of shunted. We're one of the trades where it's not really a trade. Do you know what I mean? It's not something. It's no. Sometimes it's not recognised as a trade, but it is a trade in its own. Do you know what I mean? So try to get somebody to come in and go, we will teach you the skills that you need to be a good landscaper, and they're just not interested. The generations are fucked.
Probably been outside all year round, I think, I
will see that is. I'm not going to lie. Most of the people that I try to start, I'll bring in the winter. Because see if they can last a winter.
That's it. You know they'll last all year round. Exactly.
Definitely.
It's a good way to do it.
It's a tough job. I'm not going to lie. Landscaping's brutal in the winter. Brilliant in the summer. You run about shorts and t-shirt off and vest and whatever else. And then in the winter you get about 7 layers on. If I can get them out in the winter and learn that they're able to deal with the weather, 9 times out of 10 they'll last. But it's trying to get that age right and the desire to learn, which is so hard to find just now.
100%.
And try to keep the phone off them.
That's like, another thing.
I'm on my phone all the time because I'm either doing Instagram videos or dealing with phone calls, but when the young boys are running about with their phone attached to their horn, it's so infuriating. But I never had a phone when I was young.
Don't get me wrong, I think the young boy that I had with him, I think it was his first or second day, he said he knew asked me, is it alright if I check my phone? I'm like, aye, on you go. Because I think it was one of my joiners, Ryan, whatever was happening in his personal life at the time. I walked in, I caught him on the phone, and I said to him, I says, you on a business meeting? And he's like, no, and he hung up. So I went up the stair, seen one of the other joiners, got them set off, came back down the stair and he's on the phone again, and I'm like, are you having a laugh today? And he's like, and I says, what's going on? So I popped my set and that was fine. But I think because the young man seen it, he's like, as if, don't go on your phone. So he's knew that since day dot. Because even when he's in the van with me and I'm driving somewhere, he's like, can I go on my phone? I'm like, well, aye, you're in the van. I'm not that strict. But he's grasped that right away. Whereas everything else, he's no quite there yet.
My big pet hate is the phone. I'm not gonna lie. Right? So see when they're on the phone, like, don't let the client see you on the phone. That's kind of. Somebody's not paying you to be on their property and for you to be on your phone. That's what I try and say to them, and it's that old. Just don't get caught. Like, see if you want to play with your phone, wait till your break time. By all means, sit in the van and watch your stupid TikTok videos. But when it comes to work, like,
another one's the fag breaks. That can.
None of mine smoke. Luckily.
I don't smoke, and obviously I've got a couple a day, but it's the fag breaks day infuriating because it's like some of the joiners I say, see when you're inside, you can't smoke anyway. Yeah. So when you're outside, it's like every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. I'm like, what's the point in that? Because when you're inside, that's not happening because that's on my time. Yeah. So I'm not going to having you going out every 10-15 minutes for a fag break. And then someone like, and I says, no, that can't happen. I says, I'd be losing too much money that way. You'd be jumping in and out for every 10-15 minutes.
How many fags a day do you think you have?
Well, I don't know, I've got one. My brother-in-law's quite bad for it. He's my smoke about 20 a day, easy. 25-minute
fag breaks.
So,
that's a good wage.
I know. Well, when you put it that way, so it is. But don't get me wrong, most of them, they do it when they're outside and that's it. Yeah. When they're inside, they sort of limit it to the times, like for lunch and before work and that. Yeah. But that's another thing that infuriates me, so it is.
Well, I'm lucky, none of mine smoke, so that's a bit of a bonus.
Hopefully you don't get any.
No, hopefully not. It's just, as I say, it's trying to find that balance. So I was just keen to hear what your kind of view is. As I say, I know you started young, so.
Again, it's just obviously, it was just a different aspect and a different generation when you learn back then. So this generation is, I find, a lot harder to try and teach. I feel like you're repeating yourself maybe 20-30 times a day. Yeah. But like I said, see, as long as I don't mind investing in myself and repeating myself if they do grasp it in like 3-4 months' time. See if you're going to have that 6 months period and they're still no grasp what you taught them the first month, or you teach them every week, then it's like, no, this isn't for you. You know what I mean? So you need to sort of be honest in yourself and tell them that.
It's always fun employing people, but on the flip side, it's not always enjoyable when you've got to say.
Well, that's it. But at the end of the day, you're paying their wages per week, and if they're not bringing anything back in for you, you know what I mean? They're not grasping it, and like, if I can't leave you to do that one wee daft job, it's very simple. And then you still come up to me every 15 minutes, what do you want me to do?
For a business point of view and a business owner's point of view, they've got to be making you money, not costing you money.
Exactly, that's the point.
It's that straight and
so
simple,
you don't mind. I've always said that. Some of my joiners, one of my joiners especially, the first year he started with me, I invested a good 6 months into him, and he's a cracking joiner now. He knows. I says everything that I've learned. I says he literally mirrored me for 6 months, and everything that I know, he's just gained for me. And he knows how I like things finished. Yep. Sometimes he phones you and he's not confident. I can leave him on a job, but he might say, "Are you sure you want it done this way?" And I don't mind him doing that, just to be sure, because at least then I've told him. At least if I turned up in the job and I go, "What would you do it this way for?" And he's like, "Well, you told me." Yeah. It keeps his sale right, which I don't mind you doing, but you can still leave him on a job and get me do it. So you don't mind investing your time into people, as long as you get it back after them. If you don't get it back after them, then you're like, what's the point?
Obviously, you've got your own visions and how you want to see. Is there anything else you want to progress in the future?
Probably in terms of, I love doing extensions, timber frames, but I like to get, years ago I done a new build with my dad, so it was probably a good 8 years ago now, for an old boy, and it was good to see it, obviously running all the way through it and not having to deal with a client basically being there. Yep. So I actually doing a new build or a couple of new builds. I wouldn't mind getting the team into that. So
actually house from scratch, the whole house?
Aye, but it's obviously just, I've thought about it myself, but obviously you need to, finding the land's a bit difficult. Or having that difficulty finding the land, but then definitely doing new builds. I wouldn't mind trying to get the team into that, or getting the chance to tender for it if an architect or a property developer or something had it, and I wouldn't mind tender for it. But obviously we need a good bit of notice. Yeah. Because obviously if we're always a good 6-7 months booked up. Yep. But I know these things take time with building warrants and drawings and everything to be done. So in terms of house building, I wouldn't mind maybe trying to get and seeing where it goes that way.
So is that kind of a different venture of the business you're kind of
winging towards? But obviously you probably need, if someone said to me, "Connor, there's a bit of land, I want you to build 4 or 5 houses for me," probably, you know what I mean, I'd need a good year out to do it. So it's hard to do when if you're booked up and I don't want to disappoint people either, you know what I mean? So it's hard to come out of that and say, "Oh, I'm going to this site now, this guy's wanting me to build 4 houses."
Aye, that's why they want you've got to pay the bills before you get your thrills at the end of the day.
Exactly, but I would like to maybe get the team into something like that, because they are a good team and they're more than capable of doing something like that.
And you've pretty much got the team and the skill set to go from found right to the finish line anyway.
Finishings, so we can do it. Obviously I supply a brickie, a roofer. I do a wee bit of roofing myself, but I wouldn't know to that scale. I would do a new build, but electrician, plumber, we supply everyone.
So you've pretty much got a contact list that if you don't do it in-house, you've got contacts that you trust that can come in and do it off.
Exactly, anyway. So wouldn't mind trying to take the business that side of things. If it worked out, it worked out. If it didn't, then we can go back to extensions.
So that's another growth plan, a future.
Maybe we'll see in the next couple of years' time.
Another couple of vans, another couple of bodies, another couple of houses.
I don't know if but well, I'm hoping. A guy actually asked me that the other day. What do you do? Do you lease vans? Do you buy them? I says, well, I've been buying them, but I'm hoping maybe next year 4 of my vans are paid off. So I'm hoping they're going to last me another 2-3 years, and you're sort of gaining that money in the bank.
Well, the cost is enough money.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So
mine's broke down the other day. Well, I never broke down. We hit a pothole and snapped a spring, and it cost me 190 quid for a new spring, just for a spring.
I know. So that's what I mean. So if you look after them and you're hoping they sort of last you, in terms of, because he's like, oh, I'm thinking about going into leasing. I says, well, my dad used to do leasing all the time, because obviously at the end of the day it's business money. That's the way I see it anyway. It's business money at the end of the day, it's not your money. Yeah. So that's why you invest it into the business, and it's an asset of the business. Yeah. But
do you want to know my biggest pet hate about my van?
What's that?
Washing it all the time.
Well, that I know.
Got to wash it all the time. It's white and green.
White vans are what I know. I've thought about doing something different with the vans, I know, and maybe in the future, but just today we take away the white, because I thought that as well. I like the wrap and I like the sort of different colours with the green and the blue, but
I'll be honest with you, your vans are beautiful. That new van that you put up the other day was stunning.
It was good. It's
because it's fresh.
It is fresh. I'm raging I'm not even driving it myself, to be honest.
You're not going to take it?
No, I've given it back to the boy. If I keep the wee one, it means I don't need to pick it up. I'll just send them.
Fair enough. That's why I keep my wee one as well.
But no, it's good that way to obviously have the vans all like that and wrapped. But like you say, you just don't know the minute. At the end of the day, they've got a good couple of miles on them. You don't know when they're going to go on you into it. So at the end of the day, so you're hoping that's how you make your money. It's got all your tools in it and everything else. It gets you from A to B.
Well,
so
saying that, kettle's probably the most important tool, but most important tool to the business is your vans. If you've not got the vans, you're not getting the
exactly.
jobs.
So the boys need their tools. At the end of the day, we've got a wee container, we've got a yard, but at the end of the day, I couldn't fit all that. I mean, you empty the 5 vans out, I couldn't probably even fit that in a container, to be honest with you.
Aye, it's always messy. Well, my vans are all... No, that's a lie. Mine's only messy. I shower them enough. I throw hammers.
See, I try to tell that probably the labourers' vans are a bit messy, because it's always get pick shovels and blocks, sand, cement, you name it, mixed ballast. His van's messy, but in terms of the other boys, the joinery's vans are always neat and tidy. We rack them out, we shelf them out for all the tools, and then most is going in, it's Kingspan and plasterboard, but majority of times any big orders I'm always getting deliveries.
I was going to say, you must get quite a lot of materials that need to be delivered straight to site anyway.
Aye, definitely. It's always, I mean, especially with kit orders if it's a big build, big extension or whatever, a loft conversion, I normally just say to my suppliers, no, just put it in a delivery, and it's generally like next day delivery anyway after the supplier, so it works.
I've done it myself as well. I put a full pallet of split face walling in the back of my Transit, and drew through Brickenstone and Boxburn all the way to Bailison, and unknown to me, I didn't know it until I went in for its MOT. I snapped a leaf spring in the van just by carrying. You don't realise it, do you know what I mean?
See, that's when I think about do you get a trailer for the back yet? So these things don't happen, but but I wouldn't trust the boys to drive it with a trailer on the back. That's the only thing for insurance purposes. Put the premium up and everything else, so it's like one of the ones, it's a catch-22, isn't it?
How many fancy insuring all your vans?
No, it's not. Actually, you don't even want to know the price of them, to be honest. So monthly payments are, like I said, they're very dear, aye. So, but I'm not even got a dash cam or a tracker on there.
Oh no, I have.
And I've had a few phone calls about some of the guys who would drive them at times.
Funnily enough, actually, I got into trouble the day I came to visit you for the coffee. I had a phone call in the office for the community police.
Really?
Yeah, for overhanging a zigzag by an inch.
Oh, that's bad, isn't it?
No, that is bad.
That is bad.
I apologised to him and I said I wouldn't do it again. It was genuinely an accident. There was no parking in that street, and he literally said in the phone call, your front bumper was overhanging by an inch.
That's embarrassing,
and I'm
isn't
like, right, okay, fair enough. He left a voice message and I phoned him back and I apologised.
That's when you know they've got too much time in their hands, but if they're even saying that to you by an inch.
It was worth the coffee, mate.
It
was a good coffee.
A good chat.
So, in terms of, again, goals for this year, you are clearly going to enter the awards for 2024.
I think I need to.
You're going to regain the title?
It's not even about regaining. I like the fact of being the best building contractor in Scotland and having that title.
Yep.
But I think because we specialise in home extensions, I want that title.
Yeah.
Just to sort of say, if we get the other two, great. But I think because I missed out in that one, became the runner-up.
Yep.
I want that title.
You just want it now?
I'm sort of going for that. Aye. So I did say that. Another boy had asked me that, are you going to go back into it? And I says, I may as well, because I sort of keep up the content, we'll see what happens. And then I do believe, I was confident last year we were going to win the best home extension company, because personally, I don't see a better
That's your
home
bread and
extension
butter,
company out there.
Aye, that is your bread and butter,
In
basically.
my eyes anyway. I've seen other builders, home extension companies, and I don't believe they're better than us. And that is it. But I says there might be better building contractors out there.
Yeah.
Because I was shocked when I get this only 2 years running, and I'm only 28, and I get awarded the best building contractor. So for me was a good lift. So I'm pretty confident we can go in and get the best home extension company.
The one that you came runner up in, that's the one you're going for.
Aye, that's the one I really want.
So the better watch
if
out.
I get the other two, then fair enough. I mean, I'll go for a treble, but I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
I still want to try and retain the title. I'll try it, but if I can get the best home extension, I would be happy with that. At least to say I've won the two last year and I've won that this year.
Yep.
I'd be happy enough with that. So I think for that sake, I need to try and enter it. And I will enter it.
You will.
And I need to try and win it.
You will. It's not. It's not. I'll try. You will win it.
I will. Aye.
Come on,
hopefully,
future's the best.
Hopefully, but as I say, because I seen the other guys' photos and promotional work, and then looking at our work, I was like, did he just get that because he did get the building contractor this year, or vice versa? But
well, it's one of the ones. It's alright sitting here saying, "Oh, I'll try." Right. At the end of the day, you wouldn't be in the business you're in if you didn't enjoy doing it.
Exactly.
You didn't think you were good at it.
I was born into this game, and I love this game. And that's what I said. It's home extensions is our bread and butter. That's what we love. It's what we're used to. I can organise it, but I mean, an architect shows me a drawing. It's not as if I need to sit and study it for months. You know what I mean? I can go like, right, okay, look at it a day, price it, go do the job if they wanted me the next week.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's dead easy for us. There's very, very less complicated things in the drawings that I'd need to go to a QS or an architect and say, what do you mean by this?
Yeah.
Especially because I've got my dad there and off. I was really unsure about something he'd know if
You've
I didn't know
him to turn to.
Exactly. So it's one of the ones. Home extensions are bread and butter. So for that reason, I would like to try and get that title.
Good, you've got it, mate. I believe in you. I believe in you.
Hopefully, mate.
Hopefully this year I'll be alongside you and we can get.
Exactly.
In fact, I wouldn't even fit in your table because you always fill it.
Make a night out. I know. My missus actually said that to me. She's like, "Would you not take all the wives?" And I says, "No, that's a boys' night out."
No, that's what I done. I took them. We done it, and we had me, my right hand man Craig, my missus, his missus, and then we had another two landscapers from Edinburgh and Dundee, and they had their missus with us. It was actually a good night. It was a good laugh. But
the thing is, if I'd done that, I'd need to book two tables just for all the women or the guys. I says that's not feasible.
No. Aye, just stick to that story, mate.
Aye.
No, that's great. Well, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and I hope you've had a wee chance to share your story.
Aye, good.
And I'm pretty sure we'll hear some more for you eventually.
Good, mate. I can't wait.
Nice
Look forward to it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.